First thing for your athletes, they should do some sort of warm up. They usually come from inactivity, whatever it was, school, riding in the car, etc., etc. A day of inactivity. They need to elevate the heart rate a little bit, physically warm up the muscles. That should be done before any stretching or more strenuous physical activity. Some of the activities that we do for the training, we could also incorporate as part of the warm up. But usually do something, we get some blood flowing, and get the attention of the athlete going. Okay, and we're talking anywhere from 8 to 80-year-olds. Okay, the easiest way, of course, to warm up would be to run around. Well, great. Let's make that more interesting, though, because we want to warm up not just the physical part of the body for somebody who's learning a complex motor skill. We want to warm up their attention and sense of spatial placement. Okay. What I have the athletes do is run in a circle. And of course, just running along, relaxed and easy. But to get them reactive, and the idea that in fencing, particularly, it's not just going fast, the ability to change directions. I have them running and I clap, they immediately have to change directions and run the other way. Okay? In fencing, we spend a lot of time going backwards. So it's important that the athlete become comfortable with the idea of going backwards, but not looking backwards. So when I make a double clap, they're, they just turn and continue to run in the same direction. Sounds very simple, but for the first couple weeks of a class, it takes a little bit of orientation for them. They have to quickly find their balance, reorient their center, and then of course, now I'm changing the directions. That all becomes a lot of attention and focus and processing. Okay? And because it's not just running around in a circle, it makes it a little bit more interesting and challenging, and you can make a fun game out of it also. Then I usually have the athletes walk on their toes, okay? Way up, trying to be tall. So they're developing some calf strength. Walk on their heels. So they're developing strength for the foot flexors, which are necessary for fencing. Then walk on the outside edge of the foot, walking heel to toe. Okay, so that the big toe is up and they're on the outside edge. And then walking on the inside edge of the foot, so they're trying to lift up the little toe. Even if the kids start really doing that, it's not a tragedy. Okay, this is very important to warm up their ankles, which is going to be important for what we're going to do next in learning defense. Also, strengthening the ankles helps develop proprioceptors, controlling the balance. All right, greatly reduces the risk of ankle injury, turning the ankle, and even if the athlete turns the ankle, which is the most common injury in sports and day-to-day life, the strengthening of the ankle and the improvement of the proprioceptors reduces the severity of the injury. All right. I started doing this as part of my warm-up when I was 25. Haven't had lost a single day of training to an ankle injury since then. I've turned my ankles, but I've never lost a day of activity due to an ankle injury. Okay? We won't exactly say how many years that really is. So this is an important part also. I usually then, for a little bit of beginning of intro light plyometrics, I have the athletes skip. And of course, introduce the clap. Then have them skip backwards. All right? That is challenging. If you have a group of kids, 8 and up, even for teenagers, adults, if they can skip backwards, you've got a group with good basic coordination and motor skills. Okay, a lot of the time, you may have to teach kids to skip forwards, but you're going to have to also teach them to skip back. They will tend to look behind them, worrying about the person behind them. Want them to look forwards and downwards, so that even if they trip, when they fall, they're falling on their shoulders and not banging the back of their heads. Also, if they become competitors, you don't want them getting to the end of the strip, looking behind them to find out where is the end of the strip. You want them to learn to look forwards and downwards to know where they are. All right. If you were on a open gym floor without lines, you may have to put on some lines, some cones, so they know where to turn. If you're in a fencing facility with specific strips, it's very easy because you have your 2 meter zones, you have each strip designating the space. So that's a basic functional warm-up. I usually have the athletes, if you have time, add some side shuffle work. Or so they learn to, again, orient in space. Okay. If you have some more time and great talented, you can also start to add grapevine, side shuffle. Again, this helps build up the agility and quickness and speed of the feet. And again, it's something that you have a class of kids and everybody can do it. Awesome. They've had some good gym classes at their schools. But physical education now is so poor, often in many schools, this is something you're going to have to teach the kids also. And that all then functions as also a good, easy, dynamic warm up. And then you don't have to spend as much time in your stretching.